The boys are young. Take a look inside your heart. Is there any room for me? You won't have to hold my breath till you get down on one knee. Cause you're the only one to hold me when I'm looking good enough.
Hey, what's up? Hello, it's your astrology homegirl Q back with another astrological update for you. And let me tell you, this month is going to be a bit of a wild ride. This week, however, we'll start off quite optimistically with positive energy. We will have like relationship shakeups sprinkled within the week, but nothing we're not familiar with coming out of February. And this information is going to be something that affects us both on an individual and collective level. So let's hop right into these transits to see how you can best navigate the energies personally. Real quick though, before we hop into the transits, I think it's important to talk about aspects and just give like a really quick foundational light understanding of what they are so that some of this stuff makes a bit more sense to you. Aspects are the angular relationships between any planet and point within the chart. They have their own unique energy and influence and really can shape the dynamics of any given chart. That being said, when planets find themselves within any given aspect, it can really modify the expression of said aspect. There are major and minor aspects, but in this video, we're going to keep it real cute and just talk about the majors. So the major aspects are conjunction, opposition, square, sextile, and trine. A conjunction sits at 0 degrees and is when two or more planets or points are in the same sign and close to the same degree, really intensifying and double downing on that energy and expression of the planet and the sign. Next is the opposition at 180 degrees apart on the chart. This is when two or more planets or points are directly opposite of one another within the chart, and this is going to create an opposition and tension with the archetypal energies of these planets and the signs that they both sit in. This usually leads to like a need for integration and harmonious like compromise of both those energies that are contradicting. We then have the square. The square is a 90-degree angle, and so when the planets are sitting 90 degrees from one another, they create an aspect that usually comes with obstacles and challenges. But when you overcome them, you usually gain a lot of skill set and growth, essentially from having gone through those challenges. Now, those are the harder aspects. They can kind of feel like the movers and shakers of the aspects. You feel those quite strongly. The next ones are like softer, more harmonious aspects, so people tend to lean into those. So let's get into it. So we have the trine at 120 degrees. This relationship between the planets encourages just a natural flow of talents and ease and abundance and growth. Is very supportive and like harmonious energy. It is the energy of Jupiter if you're familiar with the just archetypal energy of that planet. So definitely one of the more softer aspects, I would say. And then we have the sextile sitting at 60 degrees. When the planets find themselves in this type of relationship, it is a harmonious and easy aspect or relationship. The energy of it is that. However, this one requires a bit more work than the trine would. So definitely like just understand that that one does bring ease and harmony into our lives. It is the energy of Venus, but there is just a bit more work that's required in order to get it right. That being said, now that we've gone over that and kind of set the lay of the land a bit, let's hop into these transits for March, the first week of March. Friday, March 1st, we start the day off in a very hopeful and optimistic energy with a very cute sextile between the Pisces sun and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. And this is going to be really encouraging us to think big, dream big with our imaginations and our visions for our futures. This energy is supported with a very harmonious sextile between Venus. Yeah, it is a sextile. A sextile between Venus and Chiron, and this is going to be advancing or supporting our ability to heal and understand one another within our personal relationships. That being said, we do have a moon in the sign of Scorpio squaring Venus and opposing Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Now that energy, though it sounds quite dynamic, is really essentially just reminding us to stand 10 toes down in who we are and our individuality so that we don't find ourselves repeating old patterns of codependency. Now later that evening, there is going to be a very nice trine, very dreamy energy between the moon and Neptune. And this is going to be really pulling us into our inner world to explore our creativity and our inner passions. So definitely looking forward to that energy. Moving into Saturday, March 2nd, we have a shift of energies as the moon shifts into the sign of adventurous Sagittarius and is in a sextile with Pluto and Capricorn. This is going to motivate us to aim high and really pursue our goals. This is the energy of like, go forward and get it done. That being said, Mercury is also in a relationship with Pluto, a semi-square, and so we might run into some tensions or obstacles with other people as we go after those goals. So just be tentative of who you're working with and what's being said and done. The day does end with a Moon-Saturn square, so pretty intense energy, reminding us of all the practical work and responsibilities that still need to be met. Sunday, March 3rd, we have a lot of movement with the planets here. So starting off, we have Venus squaring Uranus, and this is going to bring about challenges within our relationships, the things that we find ourselves valuing, our mindsets around what we value and how we're in relationships with things and people, and really pushing us to break free from anything that feels restrictive or inauthentic to who we are, who we want to be, the world that we see ourselves living in, and like the things that we absolutely do not want for ourselves moving forward. The moon is in the sign of Sagittarius and squaring the sun, but also sextiling Mars, which is going to ignite in us a desire for change and adventure. That being said, the moon is also squaring Mercury, and Jupiter is in a semi-square with the planet Neptune, and that's going to create an atmosphere of like disillusionment when it comes to reality. So definitely be careful with like your boundaries and how you're experiencing the things around you at this moment. That being said, later that evening, we do have a moon sextile with Venus, and that's going to be a great time to have like heartfelt, deep conversations about some of the things you've been conceptualizing throughout the day and reflecting on. Monday, March 4th, we may wake up a bit dazed, a little confused. The moon will be squaring Neptune in the sign of Pisces, creating confusion around activities starting the day off. That being said, we do have a sextile between Mercury and Uranus later that day, which will bring with it innovative ideas and a flow or sense of like mental excitement. Then we have the moon ingressing into the sign of Capricorn, which will remind us once again of those practical duties and responsibilities that we have. But with the planet Mars sextiling the North Node, we may be a bit more like rebellious or like flippant about those responsibilities and wanting to follow a path that feels more like righteous to us, or just like is what the fuck we want to do. So definitely be aware that you are potentially going to be wanting to push past those responsibilities and just ignore them. Do not. Tuesday, March 5th, family matters and obligations really take center stage as the Capricorn moon makes a sextile with Saturn, really promoting duties and stability. If you thought you was running away from it yesterday, baby, it's back today. But the moon is going to be in a trine with Jupiter, really creating a harmonious and optimistic energy for the day. That being said, later that evening, emotions might be a little tense or sensitive as the moon makes a square to Chiron and trines Uranus. Those energies are really going to be urging us to address and release old wounds and any baggage that's been holding us back and holding us down. Wednesday, March 6th, we start the day off a bit off track with a moon-Eris square. However, the moon sextiling Neptune some hours later will get us right back on track. We have Mars sextiling Chiron, which is really encouraging us to face our fears, overcome them, and take more risk. The moon will be moving into the sign of Aquarius and later that evening conjuncting Pluto, which is going to push us to test and explore the potentialities of new relationships and to really go into an inner adventure of self-understanding for ourselves. Thursday, March 7th, we don't have a whole lot going on. We do have a square between the moon and Jupiter, really encouraging us to seek freedom and independence. Later that evening, she will then square Uranus, but she'll conjunct Mars, and together that's going to urge us to really establish strong boundaries for ourselves and also a sense of rebellion against what was always expected of us, or of what's always been expected of society, even on a more collective level. Our expectations will change and the status quo will not be the same. So definitely energies of shifts here personally and on the collective level. Friday, March 8th, the day of love, Venus's day. We do have a lot of Venus energy flowing through these transits, starting off with a Mercury-Neptune conjunction in the sign of Pisces. We have a very dreamy, idealistic, and creative atmosphere that's created with this transit. And there's also a heightened possibility for miscommunications, misunderstandings, illusions and delusions with it being in the sign of Pisces. Just a lot to be aware of, but the moon is going to be also conjuncting Venus in the sign of Capricorn, which is going to create for us this opportunity or atmosphere for friendly encounters and like more tolerance and patience around people's little quirks or traits that make them unique. That's going to come in handy because there is also going to be a semi-square between Mercury and Jupiter that same day, and that may have you wanting to shush people, you know what I'm saying? Just because it's going to create in us this wanting for like excessive talking or like an overconfidence that may come off really quite aggravating. But later that evening, the moon moves into the sign of Pisces, really bursting our hearts wide open, and really also exposing us to the potentiality of a lack of personal boundaries. So be aware of that, but definitely don't shy from the love energy that is like washing over us with these transits. Shifting that compassionate energy of Friday to Saturday, March 9th, we find ourselves with a Pisces moon conjuncting Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and that's really going to be reminding us of our responsibilities, however, shifting from family matters and focusing more on our inner emotional well-being, the state that we are in emotionally. And this is going to be very important because the transit of Mars squaring Uranus is really going to create a highly energetic and dynamic atmosphere that can become quite volatile and unpredictable, especially if our emotions are not like grounded in anything, or we're just like not even in check with how we're feeling about our environments and our situations. The sun will also be sextiling Uranus, and that's going to urge us or encourage us really to challenge limitations, but also embrace change, which we again will not be able to do if we are not emotionally sound. Mercury will be transitioning or ingressing into the sign of Aries, which is really going to encourage in us independent thought and a confident self-expression of who we are and where we want to be and the lives that we want to lead. And that is the first week of March. Thank you for kicking it with me today. I hope that this video was very helpful and informative for you. If you like that little bit in the beginning about the aspects, definitely leave a comment below and I can create another video with all the information from your questions or what I feel like just might be helpful moving forward with these transit astrological videos. I just want to make sure that you all are able to understand what it is that I am going on about. So I hope that was super helpful. And if you would like to work with me, all of my contact information is in the description box below. You can follow me on all my social sites there as well, and my blog to keep up with any astrological updates or insights that you might find your heart wondering about. Again, thank you for joining me, and you all have a lovely rest of your week. I hope that these transit insights are helpful for you all. For real. Go reflect, go dance, go artistically express yourself, be the lover babies that you are this Pisces season, and I will see you next week. Bye.